You have seen in the strategy that this is a bit different. When we, in the last medium-term strategy, we targeted 50-50. That is 50 for domestic, 50 external. But the actual outcome was 72 external, not domestic, and 27 external. This time the strategy now is reflecting the actual conditions. So you will see that the ratios are not necessarily 50-50, but it's around 55-45. You see the report. The point is we are looking at financial risk, foreign exchange risk, and other types of risks that we assess over the medium term, and have taken this into account in the medium term revenue strategy. We are also looking at liability management as one way of ensuring that we smoothen the maturity profiles of the debt coming up. So you know that Eurobond buyback that we did last year, and how much it helped to de-risk the market. I think it was matching in our view, because really there was fear of potential sovereign default of the 2 billion that was coming to maturity in June. But when we went to market, we issued and bought back 1.5 billion. That risk was removed. And everybody, of course, now believe that we were all going to do well. So shared appreciated by almost 30 shillings from 160 to 159, and has been at that level up to today. And that also has been coupled by the central bank pursuing monetary policy, prudent monetary policy, which has seen inflation come down, and also we have seen interest rates now come down, and generally the capital markets are doing well, and I think we're in a good space. So with the fiscal consolidation measures we're carrying out, then we expect that the situation in the medium term will be better, because we are looking at reducing the amount of money to borrow as percent of GDP. What is called, we call it fiscal consolidation. Our aspiration is a balanced budget, but we know it's not possible to have a balanced budget. But we have to reduce the deficit. That's why we have moved from 8.1% of GDP in 2021 all the way to 4.9 this financial year, and we are looking at up to 2.7 over the medium term. You can see we are targeting zero, if possible. And the best way to do this is not just to use the current amount of revenues. We are raising revenues, because there is still potential to raise more revenue. There are many people who are not paying taxes. We are trying to reach out to them. So it's not just raising tax rates, but broadening the tax base. And then also we are saying expenditure driven for fiscal consolidation, which means we are looking at also quality of expenditure and looking at areas of waste or where there is potential areas to save. And then we now showing at least work on efficient expenditure and more enhanced revenues, and that's how we shrink so that we grow less. This strategy now is that we will rely 75% on domestic debt and the external 25%. The reason is because if you look at the history, we have had less access to international market. And even last year, we lagged behind in our budget, in our debt strategy, because we intended to get more, 50% from external market and 50% from domestic. But we lagged behind in our access to international market, so we ended up settling on domestic. And I think it's good to focus on our domestic debt, because it helps, as you heard from the players here, that it depends from a financial market. It helps to give access to our insurance sector, our pension sector, our banking sector, and even managing. Because now the central bank has come up with a DAO system, the system that can allow any of us to even buy treasury bills using our phones. And that gives the opportunity to Kenya. So we built up a domestic system to finance our budget. I think that's much better than relying on foreign. But of course, we have to balance in terms of cost. And that is why now interest rates are coming down. And the more they come down, the better for us, because it helps us to create a fiscal space. We had budgeted 1 trillion interest cost in the financial year that we had, but we ended up paying less because of external interest costs that have come down because of exchange rate that appreciate. When you have commercial debt, commercial borrowers, we are like the syndicated loans. Syndicated loans are in the range of about 10%. In fact, we normally say SOFR plus the rate that we have agreed. Most of them are single digit, double digit. For the Euro bonds, they are also, it depends on the maturity profiles. Like the one we did a buyback, the coupon was 9.5%, but ranging between 9 and 11. So commercial debt is high. Now, when it comes to bilateral, it is lower. And even multilateral is even lower. Like what we borrow with the World Bank, it also differs whether you are accessing either window. Either is much cheaper, IBRD is slightly expensive, but all of them are cheaper. So you would need to work out the average to see the average interest rate. But it depends. And we have to mix all of them because we cannot have all debt in multilateral. Because we must also have what is called reshareable debt, which is why we have to go to commercial market. Like this time, if that debt was not reshareable, we wouldn't have gone to market to do liability management to do another 10 years. Because you will be stuck with the agreement that has been signed. Thank you.